Joining us now is Ojinika Ojiokwe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinix.
Good morning.
Thank God it's Friday.
TGIF. You never miss that, do you? Good morning. Good morning, Ayo. How are you this morning, TGIF? Good morning, Rufai.
Morning.
Rufai. You are trending, oh.
Me?
You are trending.
I didn't do anything,
Okay. Well, we'll let our viewers know if you did something or not, right? All right. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending with reactions trailing the petition filed by a spokesperson of the All Progressives Congress, Festus Keyamo, to the Department of State Services over inciting comments said to be made by the candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, and his running mate, Yusuf Datti Baba Ahmed. Keyamo in the petition stated that while Peter Obi and Datti Baba Ahmed would claim to be exercising their freedom of speech, their post-election comments are capable of causing an insurrection against the Nigerian government and the president-elect, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Keyamo referred to a statement by Datti Baba Ahmed in a television interview on Wednesday that if Tinubu is sworn in on May 29th, it will signal the end of democracy and accused Datti of posing as accuser, judge, and jury by declaring a duly elected president-elect as unconstitutional. Well, Keyamo also alleged that the Labour Party flag bearers are running a syndicate mandated to pushing inciting messages to cause social unrest and asked the DSS to arrest, interrogate, and investigate the LP flag bearers and charge them to court for their conduct, which amounts to incitement and treasonable felony. Well, let's take some reactions. This is from Theophilus, who wrote, "Contempt of court? Festus Keyamo did not charge El Rufai to court for dragging the president to court over an item on the exclusive legislative list. He is asking DSS to infringe on people who are peacefully in court on a constitutional matter. Enough of APC rascality." Well, Realist wrote, "Someone needs to call them to order, especially Datti. He's been uncouth and unguarded in his utterances, as if this nation is not guarded by law and order. If you have any grievance against the state, go to court instead of castigating individuals on TV." Well, Ineji wrote, "Keyamo did not petition DSS to arrest MC Oluomo, Fani Kayode, Bayo Ononuga, and Oba Elegushi for their inciting comments and actions, but is fruitlessly asking that Peter Obi and Datti to be arrested for exercising their fundamental human rights. Chai, we actually overrated him." Well, Harry pulled up an old video where Festus Keyamo accused former President Olusegun Obasanjo for imposing an unfit president on Nigeria with the caption, "Is this you insulting a president who reined you in, lawyer SAN Co?" Let's take a listen.
What is going on has nothing to do with the Nigerian people. And I think we should be less bothered about what is going on. First of all, Obasanjo should have apologized to Nigerians in the first place for even imposing this contraption we have. Without Obasanjo's idiosyncrasies, we will not have this type of government in place. The man was living in a hurry. He imposed two clearly inefficient people on Nigeria. And the thing is coming back to haunt him. So why should we be concerned about the wailings of Obasanjo when what is happening to him is purely the backfiring of a machine he put on the ground? Why should we be concerned? Obasanjo's own boys, his own machine he put on the ground, is now turning back against him. And then we are concerned, we are all concerned? No. Obasanjo should have, first of all, apologized to Nigerians. Before writing a letter to Jonathan, he should have written a letter to Nigerians saying, "I am sorry for getting to you where we are today." He's not behaving as if he's the victim. Writing that letter, he's one of us. He's not one of us. He's the architect of this problem. He was the one that imposed somebody with half liver and half brain on us. Somebody with half liver, somebody with half brain imposing on us. And that's where we have the problem we are today. And then he's not lamenting and writing letter. He should lament for himself, not lament for us. He should feel sorry.
Dr. Bati, what can I say? The internet will not forget. I mean, this is Keyamo insulting the president at the time. I mean, what is he saying here?
Well, okay, look, the point remains this. We should refrain from heating up the polity. As politicians, as stakeholders, the election is over. The matter has gone to the Election Petition Tribunal. Festus Keyamo, we have made a point, is Minister of State for Labor. He has an assignment. Now that the election is over, can he focus on his primary assignment as a Minister of the Federal Republic and leave the fight to Mr. Bayo Ononuga, Femi Mfaneka? There are more than enough people on the APC side that can do this work. And then, of course, what you are pointing out with that video is double standards, it's hypocrisy. And many people have said, okay, if Keyamo is so concerned about public welfare, why did he not complain about MC Oluomo and his Yashukudi? Why did he not complain about the people going around in Lagos State saying that, look, anybody who will not vote for APC in Lagos State should leave town or face the consequences?
That's the question.
Those persons, they pose major threat, to public peace. So it's not just one person saying one thing or the other, and then you focus on that person. And I had made a point earlier that Mr. Peter Obi has made it clear again and again that he doesn't belong to the #end INEC group. He does not belong to #end democracy group. That his objective is to employ legal and constitutional means, which he and his party have done, to just prove the point that the election of February 25, was not properly conducted according to the law. The law gives him the room to do that. I don't see how that amounts to treasonable felony. But in the case of Dati Ahmed, yes, he said that if Bola Tinubu is sworn in on May 29, it could signal the end of democracy. Maybe that's what Keyamo is latching on to say, he's inciting people.
But how is that inciting? He's expressing his thought, freedom of speech, the same way he did in the other
that's the position of the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council.
Exactly.
To say that there's nothing that Dati Ahmed has said that is beyond the boundaries of the freedom of expression,
right?
Which is guaranteed under Section 39 of the 1999 Constitution. But the matter having been taken to the tribunal, whoever wants to expend energy should go to the tribunal and provide evidence.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
And show that there was no substantial compliance on February 25. That is what is important. Right. And all the grounds that have been given, as I said on this program before, many things will come up in the interpretation of Section 131, in the interpretation of Section 134, in the interpretation of Section 376, and whether or not the 460,000 naira in the Northern District of Illinois can apply in relation to the 10-year rule.
Absolutely.
Which is which even exists in the American jurisdiction under Rule 609. So these are some of the things that would that will come up. But nobody should hit up the polity. And in any case, the DSS is not going to take directives from the Minister of State for Labor, even if he says he's speaking in his personal capacity.
Right. I mean, you're talking about hitting up the polity. He was on Channels Television yesterday. In an interview I watched, he said now that the Labour Party is coming out with all this propaganda, he's going to match them propaganda to propaganda. I mean, isn't that hitting up the polity, Rufai? I mean, I don't understand, but let me just continue. Keyamo's petition is coming as the Director of Media and Publicity for the APC-PCC, Bayo Ononuga, in a statement, denied reports circulating on social media that the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Olukayode Ariwola, is in London to meet with President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu in order to curry favor of the judiciary as his opponents battle to nullify his mandate in court. On Thursday, a picture of Ariwola surfaced online showing the CJN holding a stack of Nigerian passport booklets at the airport, sitting on a wheelchair. Well, before long, news began circulating that the CJN was traveling to hold the secret meeting with Tinubu, who is said to be currently out of the country on vacation and for lesser Hajj. Rufai, I don't know if you saw that picture. I hope our producer will
I saw the pictures. I saw the picture circulating, and it still goes back to the narrative of Kulu temper, like I said this morning. Yes, a lot of people, are looking, and that's why I say it behoves on the judiciary to uphold justice in this country, because at this point in time, a lot is going on, and people are looking at the judiciary as the last hope of the common man. when I saw that story, it made the rounds. I think it was People's Gazette that broke that story. Then a couple of other sites picked it up. And I saw the reaction of the APC saying that actually Bola Tinubu is in Paris, he's not in the UK and all of that. It just goes back and forth and reminds me of what happened in 2019. History repeats itself a lot in this country. That was how they talked about a purported visit by Walter Onoge then, to Dubai to see Atiku Abubakar. Walter Onoge came out to say that I didn't go out to see Atiku Abubakar. He went through the process. He was pulled out at CJN just before, I think before the elections and the case and all of that went through then. And we all saw that episode. The first time Walter Onoge came out to speak about that, he said it was because of that purported fake news of him going to do a meeting in Dubai. That was why he was removed at CJN. And that's what I'm going to say. Please, let's just calm things down.
Yes.
I think one thing is certain. Our lords have a right to look at the case. What we can do is just, keep on speaking and saying our judiciary should do the needful. And why are people saying that? It's because of the hitherto, antecedents of many judgments by the judiciary that people have challenged and looked at and said, oh, what is going on here? I mean, we talked about the Ahmed Lawan case, we talked about the Akpabio case, and many cases here. We still keep talking about the Imo State case, where Fort became first and all of that, and the moniker of the Supreme Court governor and the likes. So we just call on those, the political actors to keep calm as regards this. The APC has reported and said it's not true. Let us keep calm, let us just calm things. Because I keep telling us, we have a nation to build, which is more important. After the court case, after justice has been done, after cases have been won and lost in court, one thing bites all of us, which is the fact that we all have a Nigerian passport. And that's the reason why we are commenting actively in our country. And afterwards, we all have to come back and sit more and talk about the development of the country, which we never talk about. Politicians never talk about it enough. It's always about their own selfish interest. People are talking about GTP4 and ChatGPT and how they are innovating and how China is forming TikTok, America is pushing back. What major technological advancement have we given to the world as we speak today?
Yes.
How many Nigerian brands are doing very well, apart from our entertainers, in the world? So those are the things we should be looking at here, and that's the development. So this will come and go. We should cool things down.
Absolutely. Ayo, it's great that the APC has denied that report. I mean, but you can't blame Nigerians for thinking the way that they're thinking at this point when everyone is hitting up the polity.
Yes. I was just going to say, just to marry the stories together because they're related in terms of how they hit up the polity and for politicians on all sides, not just the APC, not just the Labour Party, not just the PDP, all sides, including, as Dr. mentioned, all actors, to be careful as to the statements, propaganda, words that are being used, because at the end of the day, every one of us will be held responsible if anything goes out of hand. It's very important. Things are still quite sensitive at the moment. We've been talking about the importance of coming together and ensuring that we don't set the country on fire because of certain ambitions, but it's important. And I'm glad the APC came out to debunk the story. But beyond that, is that, Oji, because of what we've gone through in the last maybe 8 years or even beyond, the people want to hear their president speak to them. So what we've been hearing a lot is spokespersons, surrogates making statements. Let us see the president-elect talk to the Nigerian people.
Yes.
Let him, sometimes the best way to debunk a story is by proof. It's very simple.
Absolutely.
Come out and I hope that going forward, we wouldn't be listening or hearing from spokespersons, representatives, rather than the person himself. We've moved away from that. Nigerians elected you. You owe a responsibility to be accountable to the Nigerian people by speaking for yourself. I think that's very important.
Right. So, just to connect this story with all the ethnic bigotry going on in Lagos State, and whether or not you're a Yoruba person or an Igbo person, you cannot hold a position. I'll take another story highlighting Nelson Len, a candidate of the People's Democratic Party of Southeast extraction, who was elected as member of Taraba State House of Assembly for the Nguroje constituency in the state. Nelson defeated a serving member, Barrister Ngbape Mohammed, to claim the victory. 2 women of the PDP have also been elected to represent Gashaka and Bali constituencies, respectively. Dr. Abati, this is what we're talking about. This is what we need to see.
Okay, we say it all the time, that people should not be discriminated against on the basis of ethnicity, religion, circumstances of birth, or beliefs. Section 42 of the 1999 Constitution. People being discriminated against on this basis in terms of political participation or any other activity in Nigeria is, a violation of the laws of the land. But we've seen in this election ethnic hate playing such a major role. And I hope all those persons who promoted ethnic bigotry are properly identified by the US and UK authorities and never allowed for the rest of their lives to step their foot in the US or UK. That will gladden the hearts of many Nigerians. The story of Mr. Lenz that you have just brought up now is an illustration that, well, there are exceptions to the rule. He won in Taraba State. He probably also won in a constituency that is not predominantly Igbo. Even here in Lagos, we had the example of the gentleman in Etiosa who won the ticket to the House of Representatives. In the 2015 election in Lagos State, 3 Igbos won House of Representative seats in Lagos State alone, in Amuwo-Odofin and 2 other places. Now, all of a sudden, in 2023, because of expediency, because of the politics of convenience, because of the greed of politicians and their communal supporters, it became an offense for certain persons within the country to seek elective positions in areas that are not their indigenous or, major ethnic base. Whereas these same Nigerians who say, oh, to your tents, O Israel, they celebrate it when Nigerians win abroad, where they are not even ethnically connected with the environment. When the Americans had their midterm elections in November 2022, Nigerians, 8 of them won across the U.S. legislative seats, from Georgia to Minnesota to District of to Washington, D.C. And then in your own country, they will tell you, no. We have had on this program persons who have been mayors and councillors in Ireland. Nobody told them, oh, because you are from Nigeria, you can't participate in the development of your county or, the second country that you have chosen as home. So we really have a lot to do in terms of political education, in terms of enlightenment. So that all these persons who are sold on primordial, primitive, antediluvian sentiments will realize that the world has moved beyond ethnicity.
Absolutely.
Once in the same country, a man from the north, I keep citing his example, was mayor of Enugu, Tinubu. Okay? We had Igbo members of the Ibadan People's Party representing Yorubas. We had the first person in the Legislative Assembly, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, representing the Western region.
I mean...
So please, we have a lot to do. And that should be part of the healing process.
Absolutely, well said.
Just to quickly put this in Dr. Party, Ndobisi Kanu was an Igbo man, was governor during the military regime in this state. Apart from that, he did so much in Lagos that a park was named after him. Yes. Ndobisi Kanu. He was a front runner in Adeko, and he did a lot for Lagos.
All right. We'll take another story. Calling attention to the brutal killing of a dog named Roxy, which was gunned down for alleged wandering. The dog, an 8-month-old American bully, was said to have wandered into a compound at Cooperative Villa Estate in Ajah, Lagos. The owners of the house allegedly felt threatened and called on the estate manager, a Pastor Tokumbo Olugbenga, who reportedly ordered that the dog be killed. Graphic footage of the dog bleeding to his death in front of his owner, Vincent, who begged for Roxy's life to be spared, has made the rounds on social media. Dog lovers have used the hashtag Justice for Roxy to demand for justice. This is such a horrible story. I mean, I don't know what prompted the killers of this beautiful dog to do what they did to this dog. We haven't heard from the other side of the story, but I believe this pastor, who they say is the chairman of the villa, ordered for the killing of this dog. There needs to be thorough investigation. I mean, this is completely unacceptable. I don't know if you saw that video.
Yes, it was.
I'm even almost crying.
Yes, there was a viewer discretion because of how graphic the video was. Like you mentioned, it would be great to hear from the other party, but notwithstanding that, it's just our penchant sometimes for violence and extrajudicial judgment or killings. This is not a human being, obviously, but the fact that we don't go through the process or obey the rule of law. What should the pastor have done, or what should Mr. Olubuenga have done? He could have investigated the matter, not acted in anger, at least acted rationally. I think that's a challenge that we face a number of times in responding to issues. For a very long time, we don't have a lot of, when it comes to, we're still battling with human rights, so we don't even look at animal rights. Yes. But I believe that it's time we start to look at it.
And that is the problem. We're still battling with human rights and we don't get to look at it. But that man is a pastor, Rufai. I mean, I really need for this whole problem to be investigated really quickly so we can take our final story.
I mean, a human being is a human being. Being a pastor doesn't mean they will not be wicked if they want to be wicked. So let's just get that out of it. But it's very sad. You see an animal like that. If we truly had a country that, in fact, you see, when you brought the story, we've not even finished caring for human beings. I'm not sure we'll have the mindset to care for animals, which is very sad. Something like that, you were just supposed to have the animal go to a shelter.
Exactly.
Just take somebody to take the animal to a shelter for safekeeping, and people can.
Absolutely.
Well, just to add something quickly. One, Nigeria has Animal Disease Control Act. Nigeria has an animal protection strategy, but we don't have an Animal Welfare Act. I think that part of the problem can be solved by having an Animal Welfare Act in line with international conventions. However, Section 495 of the Criminal Code, up to 499, talks about cruelty to animals.
Yes.
And there are penalties prescribed there. You are not supposed to be cruel towards animals. But who enforces the law? That's the question. Number two, that animal, I've seen a comment by the owner of the dog saying that at least they should release their dog.
Exactly.
For burial.
They need the body.
I hope that, some people eat dog meat in Nigeria. The whereabouts of that dog, even as dead as it is, must be determined. Absolutely. So that it doesn't end up in the pastor's pot of soup. That's a very important consideration. Finally, what the pastor can hide under is that he's protecting himself, street liability. Street liability simply says if you are keeping an animal under tort, you should not allow your object to leave your compound to go and disturb other people. Other people can protect themselves. And in street liability, you may not need mens rea. You don't need to prove that you had the intention to commit a crime. But we need to develop the jurisprudence with regard to animal rights.
Absolutely, well said. I mean, like Dr. Dattis said, Roxy's body needs to be returned to the owner. We'll take our final story with this actual story from a group named Anonymous. And they threatened our Rufai Oseni here. Let me pull up that statement. They wrote, a name was mentioned today, Rufai Oseni. We've got absolutely no idea who this man is, but his name was mentioned today. A plan is in place to invade his home. Getting the entire family wiped off is the target. The said man must be made to know the situation. He must be on guard. Mr. OBPG, arrest is getting closer. Remember, the names mentioned in the previous expositions, and you must not forget. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us. This is clear threat, and I thought to highlight this particular story because this page, they have over 27,000 followers and more, and they are a real page.
Yes.
Rufai.
I mean, I see a lot of these things from time to time, but like I always say, there are reporting channels, and this is a reporting channel. I'm sure those in authority are seeing this. And why all of this going on? Because I do my job the way it is. Because I stand strictly to the tenets of objectivity. And that's all. And it's not only this, I've seen a lot of attacks against me. I'm never the center of the story, but the truth has to be told. I just want good media. I just want to elevate good media, good conversations. Let's have a good conversation, good answer questions. Yeah, rebuttals, yeah, because I think that's the toast and the spice of journalism itself. It's a very, very interesting, field I love so much because of the capacity to be able to exchange ideas.
Don't worry.
And every time I come here, I want to learn. I've got no political slant. Somebody was saying, yeah, and I needed to address that because I
Yes.
wasn't given a right of rebuttal. I've got no political slant. I don't belong to anybody. I belong to logic, which is the cornerstone of how I think.
Absolutely.
And very good arguments. So because these same people, when it favors them, they call Rufai the hero. When it doesn't favor them, they say he's the villain. I don't care for all of that. I don't care for political consideration.
All right.
They've told people to sack me too at some point and all of that. I've been through a lot.
Okay.
Yes, it's hard on my family, but the truth has to be told. We need just to have good journalism in this country, so everybody, can get access to good information. That's just it, and good argument.
Rufai, we at Arise News are right behind you.
Thank you.
Thank you
so
all
much, everybody.
for your great
Thank you.
analysis on what's trending today. Well, that's all I have for you on what's trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.